Sometimes we forget why we're here. It's easy to fall off track. These help us remember.
These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Growing up, I had a dream, something no one else could see. Tell me what it means when your faith is falling beneath your knees and you can't breathe. Everything you see reminds you of what you're not or something you won't be. You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians or choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business. Not because they wanna do it, just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of shame. And that's the reason I'm staying up late, trying to find a way to escape the stereotypes this day and age is making me feel like the only way I'll be happy is getting signed to a label and making money through rapping. I wanna share my emotion because this world is attacking the very principle of life that lets the people be happy. If you don't have a reason to breathe, why even live? These battle scars are impressions of everything that it is.
Scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Now, if I had a voice that reached 100 million people, I'd tell them there's a reason that we're all created equal. Cause some decide to be great and some decide a sequel to an average person's life is simply what they want to be. So you make your decision, all I know is what I'm given. Won't define the life I lead or the way I dwell in existence. I've seen a greater image on the walls of where I'm living, and the words twisted and scripted remind me of something written. Faith is a gift that is given down to the people. If one believes it, one receives it. It's given if it is needed. Don't ever think you're trapped in a life that you never wanted. Your options are infinite, that's some mathematical logic. I'm not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers and these battle scars on my church. Not saying I'm a prophet, I'm speaking for what it's worth. These lyrics define my prayers, these battle scars on my church.
Scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battle scars don't look like they're fading, don't look like they're ever gone away. They ain't never gonna change. These battles.
Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? And why is not, here we go, put up my little logo and my shameless grifting, which I have to do. And something I did want to point out about the shameless grifting, because I love pointing out the shameless hypocrisy of our current Libertarian National Committee. I think they learned their lesson, that their grasp outdid their reach with their bogus, fraudulent removal of me. Because guess who also has a monetize, and I got his permission to, because this might put a target on his back, but I got his permission. Guess who also has a monetized YouTube channel? But they're not saying a peep about it, because I think they know they fucked it. Oops, they screwed up. I'm not getting monetized to this show. I won't even try. So, yes, Joshua Smith's show makes more money than mine does, and he often talks about LNC drama. But notice, boo, 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 they're not saying a word about it, because I think they know they'd be lynched. So I asked Joshua, can I put a little target on your back by pointing out their hypocrisy? He's like, go ahead. Go ahead, you know? And thank you, everyone who is here already and in comments. Yes, I know it's addictive, isn't it? Learning all the liberty. And this isn't the type of content I like to do. I want to go back to history. But the fact is, like, the LNC just can't, straighten up and fly right. They just can't seem to do it. I appreciate Joe Di Pasquale reminding me to blink. That hasn't been a problem. But I do appreciate it. I think he needs to put that on a post-it note, though, for himself on his computer. Whenever he's on camera, it'd be like, blink, damn it, you're freaking people out. They think you're a lizard person. I say that in love, Joe. I say that in love. Okay. So we will be getting back to history. I have a video from D. Frank Robinson I need to edit. I felt so bad. He wrote me, he goes, was my interview unacceptable? Because I haven't put it up yet. And I've just been too busy. But before we get started, you see these adorable, you might not be able to see them well because there's all this pink in this room, but got these adorable little pink Statue of Liberty earrings. And I'm sure you guys would let me know if my sound was bad because I had to screw up my soundboard right before this. Well, this was sent as a gift. And I wanted to show you. I always like showing off the gifts I got. And this is from a boutique that the listener that sent this to me called the Quirky Cute Boutique. So go check that out if you want to support another libertarian. So in this cute little bag, pink, I love it. And it came in this pink polka dot package. But she also sent me the sweetest card and a gift towards my campaign, a Visa gift card. Thank you so very much. But look at this lovely card. Isn't that beautiful? Look how sparkly. I'll definitely be keeping that. And I'm going to read the inside, but I just love this card. And it says, "You rule. Thank you for carrying the pink flame of liberty. There's people all over the country rooting for you. Shine on, CAH. Have a drink on me while you wear cute earrings." And I don't have her permission to read the name out loud, and I don't usually do that without permission. But I just love getting these things in the mail. I open the mailbox. I'm like, ooh, what is this? What is this? But again, she owns Quirky Cute Boutique, and you can get things like this there. And, I love how the way my listeners remind me to be like just the basic decent YouTuber and ask for you to hit the like button, subscribe, and share. The subscriber count has been kind of stale because I don't ask very much for subscribers, but it really does help. I also realized the subject matter is very, very niche. I never had any expectation that this is going to be some kind of huge channel. I would love one day to get up to 10,000 subscribers, only because I can then have Teespring will allow you to have like this merch bar along the bottom, which will showcase all your designs, because there's some pretty cool stuff at the merch store now. If you haven't checked it out lately, there is new designs. One of them, maybe we'll pull them up. Let's do that, because if I can. I should be able to, right? We have a tiny URL. I keep forgetting about that. So it's tinyurl.com/pink flame merch. This should pull up the merch store if I didn't screw it up. Let's see. I wanted to show off some of the new designs. And hello, Julian. Okay, let me share my screen here if I can. Yes, I can. Okay, so there's the ones you guys already know about. The Modecorum, the Noda shirt. The Grab the Pine, Get the Quills has been very popular, but that's been up there for a little while. I wanted to show you guys the new designs. The Say Decorum one more time. The Comet one. Principle over Decorum. But here's the one I wanted to show you guys. It's a new one. The Reno Reset. You'll lose your title and you'll be happy. So please, for Reno, get the shirt. This is a top lobster design. So that is a new one. And I think I have a few more new ones here. Yes, for the ladies. Check out this cute little crop jacket with the pink flame of liberty. So that's a new one. And I think there's, yes. I don't know who it was that kept loving that I kept using the phrase mining the subjunctive at the 2020 convention, but we've got a shirt for you. The front has the pink flame of liberty. The front actually says, if only you hated the state as much as you hate your secretary. And the back has mining the subjunctive. So get your Mining the Subjunctive shirt today. And there's got the mug. And let's see. And then, it has multiple colors. And I think that's it. Yeah. I've got some other new designs that I need to upload that people have been sending me. So there you go. I just love, and I buy one of all of them, you know. There's a few I haven't gotten yet. And I need to frame my Principles over Decorum poster that I bought, because that's going to go back here for some of my show background. And you guys I've had some people ask me about this background. This was a gift from the Libertarian Party of Wisconsin when I was up there speaking. Man, it seems like ages ago. And there's something else I wanted to show you guys. I was a prophet. I was a prophet and didn't know it. Let me find my prophetic statement for you. 1 second here. Yes, let me pull this whole post up if I can. It came up on my memories. So I want to show you this on Facebook. But tell me I wasn't being prophetic. This is about the time where I really started riding the LNC's ass about being silent on COVID. And it says, everyone wants to be liked. This is December 7th, 2020. No one likes to be that guy who won't shut up about the naked emperor. And I was referring to me constantly riding the LNC's ass about their dereliction of duty. I said, but sometimes you need to risk being maligned, disliked, and lonely. Doesn't make it suck less, though. Little did I know what I was setting myself up for. Little did I know. And I ended it with a little Latin quote there, which is, do what is right. Okay. Let's go back to, I'm trying to find, I lost my place here. Oh, you don't want to see Wondershare. I hit that by accident. That's my editing program, in case you were wondering what video editor I use. I use Filmora Wondershare. I just love it. It's not the most pro thing, but I'm used to it and I love it. All right, so what else do we have? And I need to close that program that I accidentally opened because it uses a lot of memory. Why is it still going? Hold on 1 second here. Want to close it. Oh, and also my connection might be a little choppy because I never removed it from Wi-Fi from last night. So let's hope I don't disconnect myself by going to Ethernet, and I didn't. Yay. Okay. If it was at all choppy, that should be fixed now because I switched over to Ethernet. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is, at least so far, the LNC's final resolution on Delaware. And it is the sloppy seconds. I see someone in chat earlier said they looked that up. I hope you were joking because you probably got all kinds of nasty porn by looking that up. And I am not at all happy with the motion. However, I am happy that they did something. And me being happy with it is irrelevant. The legitimate board of Delaware, not that they were happy. I don't like the way this is. I'm getting all like, yeah, see, that's better now. Look how prim and proper I look. They weren't, quote unquote, happy with it, but they were willing to accept what they could get. Now, I'm not going to go through every problem I see with this motion. Why? Because I'm not going to give Will McVeigh talking points. I'll go into every problem I see with this motion after convention. I'm just going to go over a basic broad overview of how the LNC really served up sloppy seconds and then patted themselves on the back like they were heroes. No, you just barely avoided being a zero. What you should have done was on November 21st, just simply recognize the legitimate board. Then you would have been a hero. Just because you managed to scrape out a little something to throw them and not leave them entirely to the wolves. Oh, my earring came out. This isn't the earring's fault. It's my earlobe's fault, I think. I think I've worn too heavy of earrings and it kind of stretches your earlobes out a little bit. Sorry if that's TMI. So yeah, they shouldn't feel proud of this motion. I'm glad they gave Delaware something. I'm happy for Delaware, but there is going to be a few shining lights of praise I will give, but mostly it sucked. It sucked. It was the bare minimum they could do. And they gutted the original motion. It's just unreal. Absolutely unreal. So, before we get to reading the motion as originally proposed and then how it got amended, which is, oh my God, could you be any more spineless? Just when you think the LNC was already the ultimate invertebrate, they prove it is possible to be even more spineless. So, let's, John Mutrek says it's going to be appealed to the JC. I think what happened at the 21st should be appealed to the JC. And if someone bothers to appeal this one to the JC, the 21st will be brought in, and whoever appeals this thinking they're going to win, no, they're going to lose on the issues of the 21st. So make my day. Go ahead. Though I can't say I have too much faith in this JC. I do think they will do better on affiliate things than they did on my things. Honestly, I do. So I kind of hope some fool, McVeigh, appeals this because it will bring in all of the issues of the 21st, and I think the LNC is going to get bitch slapped. Of course, I thought the LNC would get bitch slapped on my thing, as they should have been. So who knows? Hopefully Vermin Supreme won't make a joke out of it, and Tom Arnold will actually make a decision like he was elected to do. Mary Ruhr will make the right call. D. Frank Robinson will make the right call. I frankly think Chuck Moulton, considering how hostile PA has been to this whole issue, should recuse himself. And I don't really know what Jim Turney will do on that. But we'll see. If it gets appealed to the JC, I will be writing a brief on behalf of the legitimate board. I look forward to it. But there's really nothing the JC can do, by the way, because within 6 months of convention, there's really nothing you can do about affiliates, because there's that time frame. But the issues that happened on the 21st were before the 6-month time frame, and I think the JC's just going to give the legitimate board everything. A girl can hope. A girl can hope. But before we get started, I want to play some of the public comment because it's entertaining. I'm not going to play all of it. First, I'm going to play a clip from Steve Sheets. It's very short. Then I am going to play... There were 3 clips. Oh, then I'm going to play a clip that from my public comment, but I'm going to have to set mine up a little bit. So let's play the one from Steve Sheets first, because you can hear like the laughter and the groans in the background, and it's quite, when did Steve Sheets stop being a radical? That's what I want to know. Honestly, that's what I want to know. And why the Radical Caucus, still has him on their board. He's not a radical. He's just simply not, well, neither is Susan Hogarth or Richard Longstress, so. All right. That's why I rejoined the Radical Caucus, to make the Radical Caucus fucking radical again. Since I'm already demonetized, I might as well just curse all they want. And because I'm demonetized, may the gods of super chats shine down on me. Okay, but it's kind of my fault, so. All righty. Let's play the Steve Sheets clip.
Today, it's kind of a backdoor disaffiliation vote. There's going to be a vote taken to withhold resources from a state affiliate. And I'm wondering right now, and a lot of other affiliates are wondering right now, at what point will National decide to withhold resources from, say, Pennsylvania? And for what reason? The last time we had this discussion, it was determined that Delaware did not violate its bylaws. It's what it is. Everybody agreed on that. You can
Is that true? Order. It's not your turn.
Everybody agreed on that in this committee.
You couldn't hear it as well as I had hoped you would, but people over in the far corner where you'll see that I'm standing when you see my comment, everyone was shaking their head like, what are you smoking, Steve? Because whatever it is that you're smoking, you need to share, okay? No, not everyone on the board agreed. I don't know what meeting you were at, but we watched the clips of Stephen Nikala because his expressions were priceless. He certainly didn't agree. Neither did Pat Ford. What are you talking about, Steve? And you're actually sitting here defending the coup. What happened to you, man? You used to be a solid, principled radical. What happened to you? You're defending the coup. You know, I think at some point, Steve, you need to step back and go, am I the baddie? Yeah, you're the baddie right now. Dude. Get your head on straight. And hello, Bettina. Bettina Dean. I can't pronounce your last name. I won't mangle it. I don't think I've ever... Have you been in my streams before? I don't think I have seen you before, but it is nice to see you. Okay, so now let me set up my public comment. By that time, I was pissed off. And by that time, the whole bogus, fraudulent replacement of me had already happened, so I didn't need to be on my best behavior anymore. Though I consider getting mad and righteously indignant to be my best behavior, but I didn't have to stuff all my anger down anymore. But there were some comments made that truly, truly were inappropriate. So the first comment made was from the Massachusetts State Chair, and they gave her far more time on public comment. But you want to know what? I'm not mad about that because Massachusetts was the host state, and I do think it's perfectly appropriate to give the state chair of the host state more time. But she spent her time talking about basically that we need to start purging people who have the opinions that she and others don't like, and thought policing and all of that. And people were really, really grumbling in the background because that is going to be the death of our party. And let me just get this right out front. I love Ashley as a person. She's one of the sweetest people I know. I don't particularly care for her LP politics, but I'm able to separate the person from the politics because I just think Ashley in her person, outside of her politics, is a beautiful soul. But I don't like what she's doing in the LP political sphere. But I have nothing personal against Ashley. But my response came, I'm mostly responding to Ashley. And then when I'm done playing my clip, I want to tell you what happened afterwards that I didn't get to respond to, that I'm going to respond to here. But let me play my clip now. Let me find that, pull that up.
Anyone else seeking to be recognized for public comment? Ms. Parler.
Okay. I wanted to address some of the comments by Ms. Shea. I'm certainly not one to accuse the LNC, minus a few examples of good leadership. There was a lot of words said and a lot of vague accusations.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me repeat what I had said. In case you guys didn't hear that first comment, and I'm going to maybe go back to the beginning, Ashley Shade had said that she was exhorting. Let me go back because we're going to go back because I want to tell you what I said so you can actually listen to it again because you'll laugh. It went by quickly. So Ashley had encouraged the LNC to show good leadership and said that they weren't showing good leadership. Of course, I agree, but for entirely different reasons. So I opened my public comment with saying, I'm not going to be the one to accuse the LNC of good leadership. Okay, so let's start that over so you can hear me say that because I love that line.
Anyone else seeking to be recognized for public comment? Ms. Parler.
Okay. I wanted to address some of the comments by Ms. Shea. I'm certainly not one to accuse the LNC, minus a few examples of good leadership. There was a lot of words said and a lot of vague accusations against people, which I thought we decided already was violence and fraud, but no, that's okay here. Saying that people violated the statement of principles. I'd like to hear specific examples of that because, again, I thought that was an inexcusable offense. Yeah, I think there's the lack of statements is unacceptable. The lack of statements against starting to purge members from Delaware is unacceptable. The lack of statement against a purge that's just started in Massachusetts, and I happened to meet the young lady who's an immigrant, by the way, is the nicest young lady, is unacceptable. That kind of witch hunts that are going on in this party are absolutely unacceptable. The thought policing that has happened. Yes, we need to trust that National will do the right thing. And they utterly failed to do that in the 21st, and they have the opportunity to do that now. It's absolutely ridiculous to claim that simply recognizing the board that was duly elected at convention is interfering. If so, you interfere 51 times a year, each time you change who your contact is. There is something in law called a strong rebuttal presumption. The people who are elected at convention should be presumed to be the rightful board until someone can prove otherwise. The burden of proof is not on them, it's on the contender. And the fact that statements were made that they were technically correct, I am proud to have helped them prepare that summary of violations. They didn't do one thing correct. I don't even know how anyone in the world could say that. What was done to Delaware is fraud. While you guys are worried about mean tweets, their property was stolen. Members were disenfranchised. And on the 21st, you had an abortion of a meeting of 5.5 hours in which you did absolutely nothing while LNC members passed to see how the wind would blow before they would decide how to vote. Well, I stand with Delaware. I would have done it if I was still here. And if y'all had removed me for standing for Delaware like you did for New Hampshire, I would do it proudly. Because now we all see what would have happened with New Hampshire if I didn't speak out. It is pretty frickin' obvious now. Do the right thing now. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay. So, the funny thing about that is Dave Casey was sitting behind me. And when I sat down, he literally had tears in his eyes. This is what this frickin' LNC has reduced people to, because they let them just get thrown to the wolves. And the fact that anyone would care enough to stand for them breaks these people because they've been so alone. And it should never be that way. But the funnier thing is, because it's not funny to see people have to be broken like that. What was funny is Dave sitting behind me saw I was barely holding my laptop. You couldn't see that on the video. I was shaking like a leaf. People think I like confrontation. I don't. I'm terrified. I shake. And he was watching me. My hands were like this the whole time. When I sat down, he's like, "Are you cold or terrified?" I said, "I'm very scared to confront people. I don't like it at all, but I'll do it." And he'll attest to that. So that was the public comment. And thank you, Mike, for the super chat. So yeah, I did tell him. I didn't call him chowderheads, though. Yeah. So then they went on to do a bunch of business for hours and hours and hours before getting to Delaware. Even though multiple people moved to move the Delaware issue forward because there were people who traveled just for that. But the LNC considers their time more valuable than the members who don't have to be there that traveled for that. And I think that's pretty pathetic. When members are there for something, you hear them. There were also more people who wanted to speak, and they cut off public comment at 20 minutes. When members care enough to come to the meeting, you let them speak. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So what I would like to do now is look at the motion as originally proposed, and then we're going to go over the amendments that were made to it for the one that passed. But before I do, I want to give some praise, because I might forget to do it. Susan Hogarth did a great job at this meeting. And she said in her argument, and I couldn't find the clip fast fast enough. But she had said that she didn't use the word sloppy seconds, but she basically said, this is our second chance to do something, but it is inferior to what we should have done on the 21st, which was just recognize the legitimate board. So to Susan, because she is absolutely right. And the other compliment I want to give, well, there's actually several. It's Susan is a surprise. That's why I wanted to get that one up front. Ken Molman had said basically the same thing, and it also said because the board was unable or unwilling to recognize the proper board. I mean, the LNC was unwilling to recognize the proper board. Stephen Nikala did awesome. Pat Ford did awesome. Rich Bowen did awesome. Joshua Smith did awesome. All the good ones did awesome. The surprise was Susan. And I will give praise where praise is due. Because Susan was on the right side of this. For whatever reasons, she was on the right side of this. Okay. Let's pull up the original motion. Let me find it first here. And let me just tell you something. On the LNC list now, they are being so phony, saccharine sweet to each other to try to prove how much nicer they are now that we got rid of the mean pink-haired secretary. They never acted like that to each other before. It's like so phony baloney that I'm just like, come on, people. People can see through this act, really. Just be yourself. Well, maybe don't, because I've seen your real selves. Maybe, okay, keep the act up. I changed my mind. Okay, so here is, I want to remove me from here so you guys can read this. This is the original motion that Susan put forth, and I'm going to read it out loud. Whereas some members of the state leadership within the Libertarian Party of Delaware have admittedly acted in bad faith to intentionally obscure notice requirements of meetings and rule changes, thus violating the actual purpose of providing notice, and have further acted without notice to purportedly expel members of their board outside any reasonable process. Funny, you're worried about process here, Susan. You weren't worried about process when it came to me, hypocrite. I didn't even notice that the first time I read this. And then further acted to redefine membership and strip membership status from a supermajority of members, changing the size of LPD membership from over 2,000 to less than 30, and have in this manner created a division as to which persons are the recognized leadership and membership of the Libertarian Party of Delaware. No, there's no division. We know who they are, but I know why she had to word it that way. Whereas Article 5, Paragraph 3 of the bylaws of the Libertarian Party require that the Libertarian National Committee only recognize one state-level affiliate party in any state. Whereas Article 5, Paragraph 5 of the bylaws of the Libertarian Party prevents the abridgment of the autonomy of the affiliate parties. It is hereby resolved the National Committee of the Libertarian Party takes the following actions. 1. The National Committee immediately ceases all support activities, data sharing, and other services for and with the Libertarian Party of Delaware, with the exception of providing a list of National Party members in Delaware as needed to facilitate a general membership meeting as outlined below. You know, before we get to the amendments, because some of the stuff ended up getting struck, I'm going to tell you my problems with number 1. There is a legitimate board that the dues-paying members of the National Party in Delaware have every right to expect the Libertarian National Committee to provide support to the legitimate board. But of course, they were too cowardly to just say, we're going to do it to the legitimate board and cut off Will McVeigh from the LNC teat. They just decided that they were going to take the cowardly way out and, cease support to all. This ended up getting amended, just by the way. Number 2. The National Committee encourages a general membership meeting to be held to determine which leadership is the rightful leadership of the Libertarian Party of Delaware. There's no question about that. But as Susan said, the board is too cowardly. She didn't word it that way. She worded it nicer to do that, which they should have. With participation both open to and limited to all those who meet the criteria to be a member under the definition of membership as defined in the Articles of Association and bylaws of the Libertarian Party of Delaware as of the 2021 Annual Convention of the Libertarian Party of Delaware. I have issues with this that I'm not going to go into. Number 3, upon the completion of the general meeting of the membership, the National Committee shall recognize that leadership which is recognized by the body of that general meeting, and upon majority vote of the National Committee shall consider the matter resolved and return to normal relations with the Libertarian Party of Delaware. I have problems with that. I'm not going to get into. Number 4, if there are competing general meetings or conventions, the National Committee shall recognize there's something in here. I think this got amended even further. We'll see. Let me continue. If there are competing general meetings or conventions, the National Committee shall recognize the convention or general meeting of the membership with the greatest number of those who qualify as members under the definition of membership as defined in the Articles of Association and bylaws of the Libertarian Party of Delaware as of the 2021 Annual Convention of the Libertarian Party of Delaware. 5. Unless resolved at least 1 month prior to the 2022 National Convention, the National Committee asks that the Credentialing Committee leave open the question of which delegates to recognize to be seated as the delegation from Delaware to the National Convention, leaving the question to the seated delegates as to which slate of delegates shall be seated from Delaware. Number 6. Upon resolution, the National Committee shall enforce the provisions of the bylaws of the Libertarian Party, Article 5, Paragraph 1, which was that there will be only one, which is their intellectual property, which is unenforceable, as we've discussed before. But they're basically saying we won't allow whichever group doesn't win to use the label Libertarian Party. Good luck with that. It's unenforceable. Okay. Now, there's one thing I do have a problem here that I can say, because it ended up getting deleted, and of course they didn't give me credit for bringing this up because I'm an unperson, but number 5 got deleted because the National Committee has no right to ask the Credentials Committee to do a damn thing. The Credentials Committee is not a committee of the LNC, it is a committee of the convention. And seeing how Susan Hogarth is chair of the Credentials Committee, it is highly inappropriate for her to be authoring a motion that asks the Credentials Committee to do something. And the fact is, as chair of the Credentials Committee, she can just do this on her own. She doesn't need the LNC to ask her to do it. This did get struck for that reason, because the National Committee cannot ask the Bylaws Committee to do a damn thing, it cannot ask the Platform Committee to do a damn thing, and it cannot ask the Credentials Committee to do a damn thing. Okay. Now, let's look at the amendments, and then we will discuss. This is what actually passed. Whereas Article 5, Paragraph 3, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We're not going to read the whole thing. Let's talk about what was deleted. We already talked about the thing that was deleted about the Credentials Committee. That is a very good deletion. I'm happy with that. But you'll see here, number 1 was changed from will cease all support activity to, we'll read it, the National Committee will continue all support activities, data sharing, and other services for and with both of the claimed chairs. This is so frickin' gross. Of the Libertarian Party of Delaware, subject to the limitations of the law and campaign finance regulations regarding such information and the requirements of the non-disclosure agreement for access to such information. If I were a national member of the Libertarian Party of Delaware, I would be over the moon pissed off that they would be sharing my information with the coup master. Now they're sharing it with both. I don't like them seizing activity to both, but sharing it with both opens the National Committee up to legal action, because one of them are false leaders, and sharing impersonally identifiable information, membership information, with the illegitimate one is a violation of trust of the highest degree. And you'll notice they deleted the first whereas clause. And that's where we're going to spend our time, because this shows that the LNC has no frickin' spine. Here's the first whereas clause they deleted. It's everything that condemned Will McVeigh. They couldn't bring themselves to say that some members admittedly acted in bad faith, because they did admit it. They admitted everything in this whereas clause, but the LNC couldn't bring itself to say it. Now, I hope everyone here finds that as absolutely cowardly as I do. So they gutted the teeth out of this thing. And basically recognized both boards, which they're not allowed to do. And there is a legitimate board. Now, the Delaware affiliate was willing to accept this because they were already organizing a membership meeting. Because they felt at this point there was so much drama and so much heat and so little light that let's just get the members together. They were going to do this anyway. So that's going to happen. And I'm very happy for them that at least the LNC has agreed to honor the decision of the members. That is a win. But the fact they couldn't bring themselves to say Will McVeigh was a bad actor? I'm gobsmacked. No wonder they can't speak out against COVID. The COVID regime. They can't even speak out against Will McVeigh. This needs a drink. I need to take a slug of Grand Marnier for this one, boy. I need a stiff one. That's what she said. My God in heaven. Unreal. Unflippin' real. So that's where we're at with Delaware. They're going to hold a membership meeting, and conceivably no one who's on either quote unquote competing board, there isn't competing boards, will end up being the legitimate board. The legitimate board, though, showed it was willing to put its claims aside and bow to the will of its members, realizing that they may not be in their seats after this membership meeting. And that took a humility that the LNC could never show, as evidenced by their fraudulent replacement of me. Because they had the opportunity to be a hero. They had the opportunity to model reconciliation, and they refused to do it. But let me tell you something very interesting about the secretary vote. Guess how many people voted for me to be reinstated? 6. You want to know what that shows? And Whitney didn't vote. That shows that they didn't have the votes to remove me because there were no alternates voting this time. It was the full regular LNC, and those are the 6 members that would have voted no to remove me and would have defeated the motion. So that vote proved they did not have the 2/3 to remove me. And the fact that they think they did and they're standing by it is just absolutely fraudulent and despicable. And that's how I feel about it. That vote, some people go, oh, you lost. No, I was vindicated in that vote. I don't think you realize that, Jackie Perry. I hope you're enjoying the hair from the wig you got. Lord have mercy on us all. However, I want to play for you another very interesting clip. But because I know those of you have not, Mike will understand the significance of this clip, but not everyone follows everything that happened with the JC as closely as I did. So let me set this up for you. The JC's decision against me absolutely hinged on the fact that every LNC member that voted yes agreed to every single charge. So therefore, if even one of them was proven to their satisfaction, which I think they were wrong, to have merit, it didn't matter if the rest of them didn't have merit. Because they were divisible and they chose not to divide them. Now the LNC is trying to back away as far as possible from any insinuation that they all agreed that I violated the membership pledge, which would require expulsion from the party, not the LNC. And I know for a fact Susan Hogarth did not agree with that charge. She just was too lazy to divide the motion. But if they all didn't agree, the JC's decision would have been different. More fraud on the part of the LNC. And the LNC said, oh no, we couldn't have divided it. Yeah, you could. So now, let's listen to this clip so you'll see the significance and you will laugh your ass off. Let me pull this up. This is my fraudulent replacement. He's not a fraud. I like, actually, John Wilford a lot. I said this on Facebook. I'm going to say it multiple times. He's a nice guy. I think he was opportunistically immoral in taking a seat that was fraudulently vacated, but we all slip, and it doesn't make him an overall bad person. I think he's a good person who did one bad thing. I like him a lot, honestly. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to say he did an absolutely shitty thing. Okay, but let's listen to the argument he made here and just think about it for a second. And you're going to go, oh my God, did he really say that?
Anyone else seeking to be recognized on the amendment? Mr. Wilbur?
So I'm completely sympathetic to the idea of making a statement. My main reason for wanting to remove the whereas clauses is when we put whereas, we are making a hinge for our actions. We are saying our actions hinge upon these facts. I think it is clear from the resolution of this that we don't approve of what was done and the manner in which it was done. I don't think that's in question. But if later on people want to come in and say, well, you said whereas this was communicated in a proper way, and actually we found that by parliamentary means there's some technicality, that is a vector by which they can attack us and say, you did this based on false information. Take out the whereas, put in what we're going to do, and let each individual decide their own whereas as to why they're doing this, and be done with it.
Okay, I went up to him afterwards and go, do you realize the import of what you said? First of all, you proved that the LNC is perfectly capable of either dividing or striking out things that have a shaky foundation, perhaps. And you also said, if it turns out that we all don't end up agreeing on this whereas, it calls the whole thing into question. That's exactly what happened with the JC and me. You just proved my case, John Wilford. You just proved the fraud of the LNC. And you didn't even realize you did it. When he said that, I literally was in the corner going, and you couldn't hear it on the tape, and I wish you could have, because I couldn't keep silent. I said, like the JC decision? I wish the tape had picked that up. Mike, did you catch that? My God. Ooh. Consistency, thy name is not LNC. That is not principled. I'm not speaking of him in specific, though he's part of it. Speaking of the bad actors on the LNC, though he spoke in favor of my suspension. So even though he didn't get a vote, I am including him in that group of bad actors. So, out of the mouths of babes, not that he's a babe, but you know what I'm saying. He didn't even realize what he was saying. But it entirely proved my case. So I guess, John, you have to agree, if you're going to be principled, have integrity, and be consistent, that my removal was invalid. Are you going to now step aside? Are you going to resign? You should. If you have integrity. And you certainly will not use a fraudulent LNC stamp of incumbent advantage to run in Reno. That is gross. And you may win. But you want to know what? I had a short chat with John because I like him. And I saw in his eyes when I was speaking with him after he offered me an apology, and I said, that's not the only wrong you did to me, though. I saw in his eyes a look of deep shame. I saw it, and he scurried away. I know he's ashamed of what he's doing, and I believe he's a Christian, so I am calling on him as another Christian. Your sister has aught against you. And what does the Bible say? It says with brother, but it means sister as well. If your brother has aught against you, settle it with your brother, then bring your gift to the altar. And which is made clear, God doesn't accept your prayers and gifts until you have resolved the aught your brother has against you. Well, this sister has aught against you, and it's righteous. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at in this clown world show. There are some more things about the LNC meeting I wish to cover. I am glad to say they deleted the policy manual provision that would have required all of the affiliates to sign on to their draconian harassment language. Of course, it was never mentioned that was my motion. Tim Hagen pretended like it was his idea. It wasn't. It was mine. The unpersoning continues. Ryan, that's a great idea. I might do that. Can you email me so I don't forget because I'm old? Ryan asks, have you done any general secretary how-to videos? I may be the new state secretary of North Carolina pending a meeting Thursday. That is a great idea. Oh my God, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that. And I am, by the way, going to be continuing with my unconventional series on how to be a good delegate. I put that on pause because I didn't know my status. Eric asked me to do that. I have no beef with Eric. I'm going to continue to do that for the National Party, despite what they did to me, because it's for the members. It's not for the LNC. I don't have any anger against the members. Oh, Julian, yes, I did get your postcard. I should have brought it down. Oh my God, I feel so bad. Next show, Julian, I'll bring it on camera. I left it by my desk and I meant to bring it down. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Yes, I did. Thank you. That was so sweet. Okay, so I'm waiting to see if there's any more comments, questions about what's going on with Delaware. Now, because the LNC has no balls, shit's going down in Vermont now. This is going to continue to happen. Notice it's all the small states that this is being pulled in. And Mike will tell you some shit started to go down in Colorado the other day. It got nipped in the bud. But it's happening. But now shit's going down in Vermont. The LNC needs to frickin' grow up. Yeah, shit is going down in Vermont because Archie is a bitch, but it's all the same line of bitches. He's a bitch like Will McVeigh is a bitch. I'm telling you, Nevada is next. I heard it through the grapevine. They're just waiting for an opportunity. Be careful. Wyoming, Ryan Brown. I don't know if that's true, however. I've heard that Wyoming has turned off memberships on their website. I have not confirmed that, so I do not want to state that as fact, but I've been told that. And it's another small state. This is absolutely ridiculous, and a spineless LNC cannot handle it. And a potentially nonsensical JC can't handle it either. Thank God Mary Ruert's on there. A couple other things before we go today. I'm trying to think if I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a show tomorrow. I think I have a couple of appointments. I'm now being a consultant on all of these crazy crap that's going on with affiliates. If you got crazy crap going on in your affiliate, I'm more than glad to help you because I'm absolutely free to do so now that I'm not officially an LNC member, though, as far as I'm concerned, I still am the national secretary, and no one can take that away from me but the delegates. And I will continue to say that until Reno. And I had a heart-to-heart with John Wilford where I told him, I hope you realize I do not recognize you as secretary, and I'm going to continue to do my work. Might hurt his feelings? I don't think so. He really is genuinely a nice guy. It's very understandable why he was a very popular chair of Texas. He's like the polar opposite of Whitney. Like, he's not rude. He's super polite. He's adorable. But he still did wrong by me. Okay, a couple announcements I wanted to make. So, now as we're nearing the end of the year, starting January, the campaign is really, my campaign for reinstatement is really going to take off. And I expect, absent talking about current LNC doings, which I've always covered, this is probably going to be one of the last videos in which I even mention the suspension. I want to put that in my rear view. It's just that it was relevant for this video, but my goal really is to be over that. But I, of course, will cover current LNC happenings. So I'm trying to fill out my delegate whips to have one in every state prior to the end of this year. So I want to list, and it won't be possible in some states which are really small, which I know are just like completely against me. But here are the states I do not yet have whips in, and some of these names are going to surprise you because you know these states hugely support me. It's just that maybe the right person hasn't heard yet my appeal for it to be a campaign whip. And what does being a campaign whip means? It means you're going to Reno and you're just my cheerleader. And if there's material to pass out, campaign literature, I give you the stack for your delegation and you pass it out for your delegation. So one person isn't trying to cover the whole convention hall. And you can be whips for other campaigns too, as long as it's not my competitor and secretary. Like if there's a chair candidate you support, you can be a whip for them, even if it's not the one I support. Like you can do that. But I think most people who support me also support Angela. But here are the states I do not have whips in. Alabama. Well, DC's not a state, but they are an affiliate. So let's say the affiliates I do not have whips in. Alabama, DC. Funny enough, Delaware. I've gone to bat for you guys, so come on. Come on, Delaware. Idaho, Iowa, Maine, Michigan, and I've got a ton of supporters in Michigan. Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Mexico, North Carolina, Oregon, Rhode Island, and Wyoming. If you are in any of those states and you are planning on going to Reno, whether or not you're going to be a delegate, you don't have to be a delegate to be a whip. You just have to be in Reno. Great. It's better if you're a delegate. I need whips for those states. The larger ones, such as North Carolina, I need maybe 2, 3. Same thing with Michigan. The smaller states, at least 1. So if you're from any of those states, please email me, and you're willing and interested. No offense if you're not. I would like to fill these states by the end of the year. Okay, I think that is it for this evening. Thank you everyone who had given me super chats. As I said, absent any personal financial disaster or things like that, and after taking out things, I think I paid for all of the show expenses, like all the annual licenses came up. A lot of that, the majority of that's going towards my campaign. Because inflation, man, everything is so much more this year. All the travel is so much more. And Ryan, by the way, I will be in North Carolina. I know it's the same weekend as Pennsylvania, so check out what I'm doing. I am a crazy bitch, man. So, March 3rd, which is Thursday, I'm flying into Pennsylvania because I want to meet up with JJ, who is the parliamentarian that was just an absolute hero for me and fighting for me in the JC opinion. I also, those of you who went way, way back in my videos will know, I don't know who my biological father is. So I did the 23andMe thing to hope to find relatives. Well, I did find a first cousin on my father's side, my unknown father's side, and he lives in Pennsylvania. So we're going to meet as well. Then I'll be in the Pennsylvania convention on Saturday. Now listen to what my crazy ass is doing, Ryan. Because there were no flights that would make it in time, I'm renting a car and driving the 8 hours overnight to be in North Carolina. That's how dedicated I am. So immediately after adjournment of Pennsylvania, maybe hang out for a little bit, my butt's humping in my rental car, and I'm driving to Greensboro. I'll sleep in the car for a few hours at a rest stop. I'm not shitting you. You know me. You know I'm a crazy bitch. So overnight, I might be a little tired. So the rental car to North Carolina, and then after Sunday's thing adjourns, then I go to the Greensboro airport and flying back to Denver. And then going back to work on Monday. Woo! So I am sacrificing a day of Pennsylvania convention to be in North Carolina. And that is a sacrifice because I am a member of Pennsylvania. So that's why I had originally planned to be at the entire Pennsylvania convention because I am a voting delegate. But so I inquired, is most of the important business going to be done on Saturday? And they said yes. I said, well, I was invited, to have a little bit of speaking time, so I want to go to North Carolina. Plus, that's one state I've never been to. I have a bucket list now. Where did I put that state chart? I don't even know where I put it. But North Carolina is one of the states I've never been to. So I can check that one off as well. So I will be seeing you, perhaps a little tired. I am not a boomer. I'm 2 years shy of being a boomer. I'm Gen X, actually. Wayne is a boomer. I am not a boomer. But, yeah, I could probably do an overnight car stream. And I actually love sleeping in cars. I know that's weird. Like, at my old job, I used to sleep in my car on the lunch break all the time. So I'll probably drive for a few hours, find a rest stop, sleep for a few hours, keep driving. But whatever. I am going to North Carolina. My next convention is Arizona, January 14th, I think. I had wanted to make Sunday in Georgia, but there were just no flights. I had a flight originally, and it got canceled, and there's no flights. And I'm not driving from Arizona to Georgia. Though, how long would that be? That would be more than one night. See, if I could do it, I would do it. If I could drive overnight from Arizona to Georgia to be there, I would do it. Particularly since I don't have a lot of support in Georgia, as far as I know. I know the state chair hates me. So I would go. But I can't think of any way to be there. Yeah, 24 hours wouldn't give me enough time. 12 hours would. And I'd do it. I'm a crazy bitch. So I'm going to see if there's any other events in Georgia that I can go to in order to try to at least make a visit there. Then after the weekend after that, there's nothing. Then the weekend after that is New Hampshire. I will be at the entire New Hampshire convention, and I am their parliamentarian. And a certain former chair is going to love that. And who else am I parliamentarian for? I'm parliamentarian for Florida, which means I will not make Oklahoma, unfortunately. If there are any other events going on in Oklahoma that I can attend, I will do so. Yeah, Noda himself. I really would love to go to Oklahoma. But Florida asked me to be their parliamentarian, and I was their parliamentarian last year. That's when the whole New Hampshire crap went down. I hope I don't get PTSD about doing that again. And it's very important for me because Steve Nikala's probably not going to be able to be at that convention, so it's going to be the vice chair who gets thrust into the role of convention chair. So I'd like to help out Florida any way I can, and Florida is my home state. before I moved to Colorado, I lived in Florida for 4 decades. So I have a very large soft spot for Florida. I don't think I'm convention parliamentarian at any other convention, but if one needs one, I'm available. Hawaii's January 8th. I can't afford it. I wish I could. Oh, no, plus you need a vaccine thing. That's what. I asked you about that because I would have scrounged the money, but I'm not vaccinated and I can't afford the quarantine thing. So if I can attend remotely, though, Fina, I would love to, if you can let me know. But I better mark that in my calendar because I don't think I have that marked in my calendar. So, but starting like the beginning of February, I think I'm gone every weekend or almost every weekend. And most weekends I'm going to 2 conventions. I'm too old for this shit, man. I know I'm going to Virginia, I might be their convention parliamentarian. If I'm Virginia's convention parliamentarian, because they just lost their chair and their vice chair is now stepping into the role, I won't be able to go to California. If I am not the convention parliamentarian in Virginia, I will be in Virginia on Saturday and California on Sunday. And I'm trying to, I know there's a few others that I have coming up, but let's toast to that. Let me finish my Grand Marnier here. Now I have work to do. Mike, if you hadn't heard, because the deadline's approaching, I am scheduled to take the Legacy RP exam, and I feel utterly unqualified to do it. So I might not pass the 2 sections I need to pass, but I got to try. Because I wrote the credentialing committee for the new exam, asking again, when are you going to grade my assignment from July? And they will not even give me a time frame. They're just like, when we get to it, basically. And I finally this time lost my cool a little bit and said, that's utterly unacceptable. And I'm professional. It's like ridiculous. They're like, well, we extended the deadline. You don't have to worry about the deadline. I go, that was never the issue. I have a personal deadline. Like, I don't want to take 5 years to take this freaking exam. It's ridiculous. So I'm sure you saw it, Mike. They approved Mark Goddard as my, what do they call it, proctor, who's got to make sure I don't cheat. So little do they know how disreputable both Mark and I are. Because he was like, I don't know if they're going to take me because I haven't paid my NAP dues in 5 years, because I was like, what the hell am I getting out of this, a magazine? So even though he has his RP, he hasn't paid dues in a long time. And that just sounds just like Mark. He's so funny. Okay, everyone, I'm going to finish this, and then we are going to go. And you want to know what else I asked them, Mike? I asked them, can you at least unlock the rest of the assignments so I could be working on them during this downtime? Nope. Grand Marnier is so good. All right, guys, I'm going to be going. So that was a lead up to say I need to do some practice questions tonight. I'm trying to do a little bit each night. I really don't think I'm going to pass 2 sections. That test is hard. I mean, Mike and I, we took it, and it's like, it's not even that it's hard. It is, but it's worded weird. It's worded kind of like this calendar that we do. Like the questions are just worded all fucked up. I actually think the new RP exam is much better. But I want to get my frickin' RP. I'll still take the rest of the new test, but I just want to have it. I want to have it before Reno. For obvious reasons. I started taking the new test before 2020. It's going on 2 years now. Okay, everyone. I hope you have a nice night, and not sure if there'll be a show tomorrow, but if there is, it'll probably be history or something quite simple, because I do have a couple of meetings. And I'll try to edit that D. Frank Robinson interview. Have a good night, everyone. Love you all.
given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in a business, not because they want to